Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Slimming Surgeon podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Kandace Kichler. We are continuing the Women Tell All series with my beautiful guests, Vicky, Victoria, and Kim. Thank you all three for joining back in.
We're so excited.
We are going to talk a lot about networking today. We're going to talk about collaboration, who you should connect with, maybe who you should not connect with. But make sure if you didn't listen to part 1 of our Women Tell All series that you kind of go backwards and listen to that, or maybe listen to it after you listen to this episode, because that one is filled with all the juicy goodness as well. In the first part, we talk about aging, we talk about wellness, we talk about exercise, we talk about plastic surgery, things that maybe we've done, maybe we haven't done. So that's a really great listen. And today we're going to expand upon that and give you guys a little bit more information and just like life guidance about networking. So let's jump right in. We know that networking is so important. Let's talk about an example. Like recently, Kim had her event for SOLICUR. Tell us about that. Like, how was that?
First of all, it was so fun.
So fun.
And you never know what you're going to get, but I always, when I try to throw parties, all I want is fun. Because, naturally, it all just unfolds from there as long as you're having fun. But we invited a great group of women. A lot of women came. But what's funny is the people that you think are going to come don't. And then some of the people that you think that aren't going to come. And it just ends up being such a mix of, different expectations. But at the end of it all, it was insanely successful. It snowballed into so many different directions. I think I have 3 meetings from it this week.
Amazing.
Vicky, you were there. We had a ball.
I was there in spirit.
I know, we missed you. And I wasn't meaning you not coming.
No.
But in general, any party that you have, you think, oh, these people are definitely coming.
Right.
And you just...
You think like the extroverts will definitely show up, or the people that are always out and about will definitely show up. And the people who maybe do a little less, like, oh, they'll never come. Or maybe the people you think are too busy will never come, but you'd be surprised who shows up for you.
That's exactly what I was trying to articulate. And, we collaborated with Notorious Wines, Sabry's Kitchen.
Wait, Notorious Pink, that really good rosé?
Yes.
Oh. I'm really regretting not being there now.
No,
we had another work event, so I couldn't make it. But
every time I turned around, there was one time I turned around, 5 women had a bottle each of wine pouring. It was so fun. The wine was delicious, and he donated all of that.
Amazing.
And he's local, but he's, nationwide.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that it's named after Notorious B.I.G.
That's okay. So that's what I thought it was named after, but you're confirming my suspicions.
Yeah. So the whole backstory is really cute, and they're great guys, and he was so nice to donate that. So, and that made it just a really fun event, and it's beautiful. Their bottles are beautiful. And then my girlfriend, fellow mother, is trying to start a blog. Started a blog. She is a culinary, I don't know what you would call it, like an expertise at this point, but she teaches you on her blog, but she needed some traction and, she's just trying. So we brought her in, and oh my God, she did a beautiful job, and it has snowballed for her too. It's really helped her expand. And then we had, our whole thing was beauty on the inside, beauty on the outside, and we had Luca Cosmetics.
Yep, Catherine.
Right, who I'm planning to meet at some point too.
Oh, I have to connect the both of you because she's amazing.
Yeah. Right. Well, let's even backtrack. Like, how did even this situation come about?
We were trying to just plan a party.
At Friendsgiving.
Yeah, Friendsgiving.
And Kim has the most beautiful office.
Yeah.
So I was like, we have to do something in your office. It's beautiful. And, I think a lot of people with parties get very overwhelmed. And it's so easy. It's honestly, we put that together really quickly.
Well, to be fair to the audience, Vicky throws about 20 parties a year.
Yeah.
And she has all these connections.
I love it.
Who does the music and who does the entertaining and who does the catering. So it could be overwhelming.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun. I attended, and it was nice to see the collaboration. It was nice to see, I'm sure, Vicky and, just so many people kind of pulling strings together. And it was nice to see, it was a beautiful event. And sometimes it takes a village, like they say.
Sure.
And I think it does,
What was so cool about it too was that no one really knew what it was, because I just said it, networking, social.
Right.
I just wanted it to be fun, not selling anything necessarily. And I think everyone was surprised.
Yes,
they walked in, they're like, "What is this?" And, we had like some stations set up, a step and repeat, a production. Our studio room was live and going, and everyone just was taken aback because it was just fun, and there were great products, and no one wasn't selling, but it was just collaborating and learning more about everyone's products, and not only the people that were there, but it gave everyone the opportunity to talk about their, what they're into. And
exactly.
And you have to come back next time, because so many people were looking for you.
I know. I mean,
everybody wants a consult with you and to go to your office for any sort of procedure. So
good.
Like,
I know, but that's thanks to you guys. And that's what I also want to echo is the positive energy and momentum that comes with people who have positive energy and momentum. Like all of us sitting at this table are happy to help each other and to move forward and to say nice things about each other and to advance, ourselves amongst ourselves, but also out in the community to people we don't even know. And if you just come from a good place, good things will happen to you. So, that's so important. And I think one of the keys to networking, like I never go to something expecting something in return. It's always more like, oh yeah, I really want to go and support this person. That's how I look at it. But then it usually ends up a consultation, or maybe I end up, getting new patients out of it, or whatever it may be, a new babysitter. Like you never know what you're going to find.
No, you just
and
show
that's
up.
The beauty of it. Yeah. Right.
You can't expect anything. And just on a few things that we're so eager to talk about is just that it bringing women together, and some women who don't work are looking to work and are scared, and they see people like us doing it and juggling children and sports and a life and a career. And it also, that kind of event motivated a lot of women who are in a spot where they're maybe soon to be empty nesters. I don't know about Victoria, but Vicky and I get calls probably, I get calls monthly about wanting to get help, guidance, or kind of mentorship. So Vicky was my mentor, and I kind of went through a hard time in my life, and I had to enter the workforce. And if it weren't for Vicky and my network of good professional women pushing me, and she specifically pushed me, I wouldn't be where I am. And I was scared, so
you were how many years not in the workforce? Like you were a stay-at-home mom for
15, maybe 12 or 15 years.
Right. So that is a really long time. Like whatever you may have gone to school for, or whatever craft you may have trained in, like 12, 15 years of not doing it can be so intimidating.
You have no idea. You just cry. You just, you talk to somebody and they, a lawyer, and they're like, "Get your resume. Because the times have changed. You have to work." And not that I didn't want to work. I mean, I was pre-med, but I think I called her immediately. And I literally sat at my desk, pulled out a piece of paper, and just, Kim Havlicek, 2013, I'm like, and I just cried. But I fought tooth and nail. And you mentioned something about, surrounding yourself with, good people. You are the company you keep. And I have just gathered some incredible, motivating friends to help me along the way. And it's all in this network that we have, and we have to, curate our own future and manifest and just, I mean, it's all about connecting with people. And I keep coming back to women just because that's who helped me.
Well, women are nurturing. There are often men who also help and can guide you and be that mentor if needed, but it's easier to call a girlfriend sometimes.
Yeah.
And Victoria helped me tremendously in my career, because I had got a new position, and I work for a medical company, and I'm in the hospitals. So Victoria worked in one of the hospitals and connected me so quickly with so many influencers and I call them my angels in the hospital setting. So for me, for work, like Victoria was so pivotal in my success. And I'll never I'm just going to tell you, thank you so much. I know I tell you all the time.
It was great. It was a pleasure because, she's such a wonderful friend. And I just basically, my entire career has been in the hospital for 15 years. And I knew everyone, and I'm a people person. They know me. They know how I work. And I said, this is my girlfriend. Or we need lunch. You guys want lunch? And working in the hospital and being so busy, oftentimes we don't even have time to eat. And she would show up with these amazing cookies, things that we're not supposed to eat, but
Shout out to bun cakes, crumble cookies.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, Manzo's Deli.
But it was something that, it was mutual. Vicky has helped me so much in my business and, supporting my business and bringing all her girlfriends. So it's a collaboration. I think that we care about each other. We care, Kim, we supported Kim on her event the other night. So I think it's like we said earlier, showing up to the event, expect nothing. And I think that we just have mutual abilities and we have mutual likes and we just kind of gravitate towards each other and helping each other. I think that's basically what it is.
So I'm going to pose a question for you guys. What would you recommend or what guidance would you give someone who is, say, new to the area or who has been kind of like a stay-at-home mom but hasn't been out and about, who doesn't have this network already? Like, what would you tell them?
To call me. Yeah. Call Vicky Case. Call the three of us. We're actually going to, as a result of how successful this networking event was last week, that we are going to actually start something called the social network.
Oh my God. Wait,
I know.
What?
I know. I know. Mic drop. No, it's really going to be something that we've been wanting to do for so long, and we really want to help other women. And so we're going to, and I do a lot of things for my own job with networking, and I'm just going to bring the principles that I've through that and bring it to this area. And we're going to have everyone bring a friend.
Okay.
That we don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I guess we could know them, but maybe if they, just so that everybody can just have this forum and this place to share ideas and talk about things that they want to do with their futures, their skills. And we know so many people are so frightened of.
In the last week, I've had one divorced woman contact me, one empty nester, one with a 5-year-old who's ready to get back to work and has no idea. And then one who moved here a year ago and has no contacts, no network. They all have the same common denominator. They're frightened. They're scared. They don't know how to do it. And I think it's so critical. And I told each one of them, you have a network. Mm-hmm. We are your network. You're dialed in. Whenever you need something, just start calling. Just start calling us. But we're putting this together once a month in my office, same thing that we just did, to bring them together, to motivate them, to put them out of their comfort zone, because that's how you learn and stretch.
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
Even though she's been my mentor for everything that I've done in the past 6 years, she said some really hard things to me. So part of all of that, being new to the area, having some new women in your life, you've got to get out of your comfort zone and maybe hear, oh, well, if you are looking for a job, then you have to be ready for that and an active listener. Mm-hmm. That's really important because, some women really want to, but it's frightening, but they don't want to hear the bad stuff. But you have to hear the bad stuff. I mean, not the bad stuff, but the hard thing.
Yeah, and they're in denial, a lot of them. I think that some people are they just don't want to really deal in reality, and they just are just thinking this is never going to happen to me. Mm-hmm. And it can, and you've got to be prepared. You always have to take, and that's what we try to teach our daughters. Like, you have to take care of yourself.
Right.
You have to have a good job. You have to have passion for whatever you're doing. You cannot let anyone think that they're going to take care of, no man is going to take care of a woman the way that it's not the 1950s
exactly
anymore.
Right.
And my biggest pet peeve, and Victoria hears me say, they hear me say this all the time, is she doesn't have to work. I wonder why she's working. or not in regards to me, but just in people and like women in general, like why?
There's and Victoria, you've heard that before too.
Yeah. I think that, I try to stay super positive, and I think our group is super positive, but we once in a while get the little spiteful or whatever, like, why are you doing what you're doing? Or, why are you trying so hard or whatever it is. And I think we need to concentrate on supporting each other and just basically, embracing each other, not trying to, I think everybody has a different purpose and a different, like I have to get up every morning and have a reason why, do what I do. Empty nesting as of right now. My husband and I spend a lot of time together, and we do a lot of things together, but I still have to have a purpose. I still have to have something that I do for myself. And I love what I do. I love my patients. I think going back to the idea of why women are so scared, I think for me personally, it's always been preparing myself the best way that I can prepare myself to do something. Working in the hospital and wanting to do anti-aging and wanting to do aesthetics. And I've always kind of knew I wanted to do that. I just, it took time to get here, just like anything. And just preparing myself, took the classes that I had to take, when you want something, I think you just find a way. You just find a reason and find the connections that you need. It's not easy. It's not like a super easy road, but it's something that I think that, once we figure out what we love to do or what we want to do, I think if you want it really bad, I think you just figure out a way how to get it. And
it's so hard though. It's so hard for these women because I was there, and it didn't work.
And maybe you don't even know what your passion is any longer, because your passion was your kids for so long and taking care of them and taking care of your husband or whatever it may be. But to Vicky's point, like I was always raised not to depend on a man. So it was never like a thought, but I have friends to this day who look for a significant other based on their bank account. And it's like, that is not sustainable.
Things happen in life.
Right. I mean, like he could literally drop dead tomorrow and you might not be on the beneficiary.
Exactly. You don't know.
Yes. And that brings up such a huge, I'm so glad that you brought that up, because I'm telling everyone out there that's listening, please have all of your affairs in order, because there's so many people that I know too that don't have they don't have wills. Mm-hmm. They're
no life insurance.
Like they don't know what they even have. They're so in the dark of these types of things. But I think it's so important to definitely have everything, like have an attorney, like have somebody who's going to be able to take care of your children. If God forbid something happens, like so many people we know are just blindly living out there. Like they're not taking care of their affairs. And that is hugely important.
But a lot of, I hate to say this, a lot of women depend on maybe someone else to do it. And it sounds so old school, but it's still happening. And I know plenty of people that this has happened to. Their husband, whatever, they had a fallout, they go through a divorce. They've never paid a credit card. They have no idea what their credit is. They have no idea if they have life insurance. They have no idea about anything. I think a topic that we could maybe talk about at our social event, or just,
Yes, I love that.
Having topics is make sure that you know what accounts are out there, that you have in life insurance. Mm-hmm. It's so empowering. It's frightful. Mm-hmm. Like when you first start looking down this road of like, okay, where do I even start? But once you start chipping away, you feel like, you take your ownership back a little bit. I had a friend whose husband cheated on her with her best friend.
Oh my God.
And he had 8 credit cards open in her name. She didn't know one password. She didn't even know how to check her own email.
Oh my God.
It happens.
Okay, but there's also ignorance here. Not against your friend.
Yes. Yes. But you know what? She just bought a car last week.
Yes.
She just sold her beautiful home and is moving into a townhouse, and she has taken her life back. But I went in there. We wrecked shop. We took over the office. We got rid of everything he had. We got everything in order. I mean, I almost feel like it was like a fixer moment. And there was no time to feel sorry for yourself. It was amazing. Like I would do this in a heartbeat for someone else because you're just standing there like, what happened? What your whole life flipped upside down immediately. Yeah. He drained her bank account right away.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course. Right. And it happens on the flip side too. I don't want to be, a man hater because I'm absolutely not at all. But
well, there was a woman also involved in the situation. I know it's always like when I hear stories like that, you like the gestalt is to just be like, oh my God, what a horrible guy. But like there was also a horrible woman involved in this situation who knew that this guy was married and did these things. Like, so don't be that girl.
that comes to, the way we raise our children.
Yeah.
I think that we all could agree in this table that, we're raising our children, our boys or girls, going back, taking care of yourself, never relying on who you're marrying or anything like that, and I think that that's super important, like everything I strive for, I do, first of all, it's for my children and, to be a good role model for my children. But then it kind of translates into the community. I think that we empower, by doing what we're doing, we empowering others. Somebody's looking up to us. Somebody's saying, how can I do that? And I do get, you did ask earlier, if I get a lot of messaging or people inquiring, I do get a lot of DMs or emails, people asking me, how do I go into, how do I become an aesthetic injector? How do I, where do I go? Like, where did you get your training? And I, almost like every week, like it's people want to do, they need guidance. And I think that it's important, I obviously give them the guidance, and I even offer, people to come to my office and train with me. But the only thing I ask is that they go and take the training first. Because I don't want people to think that they can just come to me and learn how to inject something, and then God forbid they go. God forbid they go and inject somebody, right. And then I don't want to be liable, and it's a safety situation. So I always tell them, I say, go take all the courses, and if you still think you need some training, then come my way. I'd love to help you. And I think a lot of nurses need guidance. As nurses, we're always trained and thought that, the only place you could ever work is a hospital. Right. And then sometimes we, it's so challenging and adrenaline driven. And then you find yourself like, so drained in the process and burned out basically. Mm-hmm. And then, finding other ways to make a living, it could be fun, and it takes coming out of your comfort zone. It's definitely, it's different. And honestly, the hardest thing is the business part for me. Yeah. And trying to be a face on Instagram and do all these different things. And there's just so many aspects of the business. But the fun part is, obviously doing the fun part of the injections or whatever. But it's mentorship.
That's a good industry for women to want to dabble in if they're thinking, because it's so broad. I mean, you can work in the office, there are so many different things than just being an injector. And that industry is not going away anywhere anytime soon, the beauty industry. And
I think it's the fastest growing industry, right, Dr. King?
Right. And especially where we are. Yeah. We're like in a very beauty centered area of the country and of the world. So yeah, I actually last week, had a lunch meeting with a nurse who is ready to get out of the ICU. And, she's like, where do I go from here? What are my options? And it's like, I wasn't a nurse, so I can't tell you the exact path, but these are the things that I've seen other people do. This is what's happening in the beauty industry. These are other avenues that you can take. Like, you can stay in the hospital, you can move up the ladder in management and eventually be like maybe in the corporate setting. You can go get your NP, and then you can do independent practice and be injecting, or maybe you own a business and you're like in charge of the medical consultation. There are literally so many different things you can do with your degree. But I think the key things here are that you have to be brave enough to do it. and you have to use your connections. Like the fact that she reached out to me and wanted to talk, like that was hard for her just to ask if I could have lunch with her. Like, obviously I'm very busy, but like I would make the time for anybody. And, you know, being willing to take that step to get out of the hospital setting. Cause I mean, we all start there in medicine. Like that's like the first place you go after you leave training. It's like in the trenches. And then people who are in the trenches for 20 years think you cannot leave the trenches. You know, you're like a traitor if you leave the trenches and you're this phony and like, what are you doing? And why do you want to be pretty? And all the things that come with this territory of moving into the aesthetic aspect of medicine. But you know, if it's your calling, it's your calling, and you do it and you put on the brave face and you push through the negative criticism and you keep going. And I think that can be translated to any area of life. If you are a stay-at-home mom, you find yourself in this position where you want to go back to work, but maybe you need to go into education. Like there's going to be people who tell you can't. There's going to be people who tell you like, no, it's not for you. You're just a stay-at-home mom. But if you push through and you're brave, you can accomplish whatever you want.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
In Kim's situation, it was what you were doing in the community that you were able to build a whole story about the successes you've had to get your first interview in big corporate America.
Yeah.
Because Kim and I worked for big corp. I still work for big corporate. Kim is more of an entrepreneur right now, doing her representing SOLICUR, but I'm still in big corporate America.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're all taught to get those executive sponsors. And it's those people who get those executive sponsors and get those mentors and surround yourself with all these amazing people. You are going to have a successful career and you're going to meet some really cool people as well. And if it doesn't lead you in the direction that you wanted it to lead, it really doesn't matter. You might go in a different direction. So Kim, you were so scared to make the transition and it wasn't easy, but I always say it about Kim, was she was an active listener. So there are other people that I've tried to sort of communicate this message to, and it's like going in one ear and out the other. But Kim was like a sponge. And even though you were scared, you were listening. And like you said, we had some hard conversations, reality checks, a lot. And definitely
a lot. I needed it.
Well, it's true. And I mean, I can think of so many, right. And I can think of so many things that like you forget that you have to be able to do when you're not working and then you go back to working, comes just from being like on maternity leave. Like you kind of forget some skills, you know, like
don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah. You know, people skills, eye contact, shaking hands. Like that was one of the things that I coached this girl on because she had an interview the next day. And I was like, the number one thing is you need to make eye contact. You need to be thankful. You need to be humble. You know, like there are so many robots in this world today who are just staring at their phone, not actually having a interaction with another human, that if you just show up at normal, you're going to get the job.
Right. So, writing the thank you.
Yeah.
Normal.
Yes.
That is my biggest thing too. Write a thank you, like immediately. Don't wait 10 days because someone else has already written one, you know?
No, someone that hired me said I was the only one that wrote a thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like honey, what is it the saying? Like honey attracts more.
Bees. No.
What
is it?
It's a really good saying. We'll get back to you.
I should know that I'm from the South.
Right. You attract more flies with honey than with shit or something like that.
There you go.
Or sugar and shit. I don't know.
Well, to your point, like, so when women, everyone touched on this, and I think it's important to say that we have chapters in life. And I remember meeting this one man at an event, and he had been married 5 times. And he said to me, this is my 5th chapter. And it was more than just the wives being his chapter. And he was in his 80s, I think, and loving life. And I've always thought of this person, and I don't even know him. And we have chapters. And sometimes you take a job that might not be that great, but it's going to get you somewhere, you know, but it's just different chapters. And you have to look at it like the next chapter. And, you know, I had 4 people pass away in this past week. I went to 2 funerals. What? You had one. It was just a weird week.
Yeah.
But at those times when you're at a funeral, it reminds you, to live life. And, the next chapter is around the corner. And I just feel so badly for these women who feel stuck. And
also that we're not going to have our kids. Well, you still have Kim has 2. Victoria's an empty nester, and I'm going to. What am I going to do? I'm gonna be so depressed.
and you know what? You work,
but I'm going to work.
I think
God, I have
and you're
that.
going to form and build a social
100%.
network.
That's right. That's
I know.
right. That's what I thought about, talking about empty nesting. And I think it just gives you an opportunity, whether you're a stay-home mom or whether you work or, we put so much effort into our children. And I think that, and that's, kind of like what we're, it's a good thing. But once you're empty nesting, it's, I'm trying to look at the bright side of things, and it gives you time to, I don't know, do the one hobby you wanted to always do the one job, maybe you didn't have time to, maybe you were always working part-time and always cutting back on your career. And it just gives you, and for me, luckily, I'm still super young. I'm only 44. And I feel like I still have so much energy, so much to give, and so much to
And
still
also, you're on
experience.
really good hormones. No.
I feel like 20. It's nice because I think it's the chapter in your life where where you get a chance to at least for speaking for myself, it's a chance for me to really focus on my career, really focus on different things. I still enjoy the times where my children are home, and the holidays are coming up soon. And I just absolutely love it. And my heart is full. My children are home. I'm cooking meals for them and gatherings. But, it's just wonderful. So I think, it's a nice transition because you get to, enjoy your children maybe when they're home. But then when they're not home, you get more chance to yourself. And then going back to friendship and going back to networking and collaboration, it's giving me the time to know these beautiful women and to just, we spend a lot of time together just doing sometimes fun things, sometimes, just maybe preparing for things like this or helping others or mentoring others. So I think it's a wonderful chapter for women's life,
Yeah. I'm buying some dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am. No, I'm not even
Plural?
kidding.
Like how many?
Well, I'm going to start with one more. I already have one, but
okay.
because I need to come home and have a whole house filled with energy. Like I always have music playing. Me with my lighting. Like I have to have a vibe at all times. So I'm going to introduce like these. So I'm going up in December. So
This is
we're
so
gonna
good.
have yeah, I need a whole situation. So yeah,
it's an adjustment. It's an adjustment, and things are a little bit different. And I have to say, my husband, he would just sit by the TV and be very quiet. And men don't talk about these things. Mm-hmm. And the house is super quiet. We have a dog that doesn't even bark.
Oh no!
And
you need to get
it's different
music playing.
It's different, but you enjoy, like I said earlier, you enjoy the good times when the kids are home. And
that's such a good point because Kim and I were just talking about this earlier. Like I was telling my husband something like I thought was so juicy and so fun to talk about, and he's like, "What?" Like he's just like watching. He's like, "So what?" Like get to the meat of the story. I'm like, "Oh my god,
the story is the meat of the story."
This is riveting. And you were saying the same thing. Like,
That's why you need your girlfriend.
You need your girlfriends. Like, they can't be everything. They can't. They don't want to gossip the way that we do. And yeah.
So I missed that part of my life. I went through a hard time and I kind of went into a little bit of a hole. And I have my good girlfriends that I always call and have, but I didn't reach out like I should have. And I've recently, over the past year, maybe or two, I've tried to be better about it. And I realized I was so sad and lonely and I didn't want to reach out to friends. And that was the one thing I should have been doing. Mm-hmm. But it's hard. And I get, and some people are in this position right now out there who, are in a difficult situation and isolating themselves. But I would highly encourage to continue to get out and try and network, and we'll get the social network up and running. But,
make yourself do things, it's kind of like the gym. Like, nobody really wants to go to the gym. Right. I mean, you do because you want the results and you want the after.
Victoria does.
I know. I kind of do too, but I'm saying for the general population.
I think only 30% of people
way less.
Probably less than that. Yeah.
It's got to be less. Yeah. But it's the same thing. Like, I do the same thing with myself. Like, I'll look at my calendar and I'll be like, oh my God, I'm way too booked. Like, this is exhausting. I need to cancel everything. But the things that I know are important, like, I make sure I'm there and I never regret it.
You never regret it.
You never regret a good workout. You never regret a really good social interaction. Like, even this weekend, I was like, oh, like, I don't want to go to this party. It's going to be just, it's not my crew, like my people that I'm always around. But I was like, I'm just going to do it. And we had the best time.
Out of your comfort zone.
We had the best time. Yeah. It was amazing because we took the kids, and there were so many other women there who were like, let me hold your baby. So it was like 2 hours not holding my baby. Yeah. It was like free childcare, wine, so it was great. But you have to force yourself sometimes, you know.
You do, but you always learn something, right?
You always learn something. And then the flip side to that is if you've got friends that you notice are maybe pulling back or isolating themselves, reach out, because maybe they're too afraid to say something.
100%.
And they're looking for someone to ask them, how are you doing? Like, no, really, how are you doing? What's going on? Like, let's get you out of this funk, like whatever it may be. So,
and don't cancel.
Yeah.
That's my thing. Don't cancel. Like, how many people just like
last minute?
Yeah.
Ghosting. We're going to talk about ghosting.
Oh, ghosting. Ugh, ghosting.
A little bit different, but yeah.
Or
exactly.
like cancelers. I don't. I'm boycotting cancelers.
Yeah.
I don't like that. You've got to show up. Mm-hmm. If you're going to make a commitment, really try your best.
Right.
And here's a little party tip, because I do give a lot of parties. Don't ruin my vibe and tell me 10 minutes before you have a stomachache. I really don't care.
Yeah, exactly. Just don't go then.
Yeah, just don't go. I won't even notice you're not there until the next day.
Exactly.
I don't care about your stomach. I really don't. Like, just I'm excited to like get this going. And
this is so true. This is like social interaction 101.
Yeah.
No one cares. If you're not going to go, they don't care.
That's my biggest thing. Nobody cares. I would do in quotations. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
I care. We all care here, but there's just I don't like that. I don't like. Just do what you say you're going to do.
Yeah.
And
if you're going to commit,
and I won't commit unless I know I can definitely be there.
Yeah.
And I will try my best, but the whole stomach headache. No, sorry. I
say yes to everything. Don't put anything on my schedule. I'm like, oh my God, can I do this? Okay.
I know.
I do it. I figure it out.
And we were saying too, Victoria, you were saying too, like, ask the busiest person in the room and they'll get everything done.
Yes,
and we
absolutely.
always say that.
Yeah.
And you learn that the hard way.
Oh my gosh. Like,
right.
Seriously.
Get people in committees, you ask everyone, and then you realize there's one person that's doing everything. And they're the one who's got a job, got so much on their plate, but they are killing it as,
a multitasker.
Yes. And then everyone else is like, oh, what?
I know.
Nowhere to be found.
That is one of my pet peeves. Like, when I ask someone to do something who seems so like not busy and then they just don't do it, it drives me nuts.
Yeah, it drives me crazy.
Sometimes, when you don't have anything, it's like the more
it's
you have, the better.
Yeah.
No, I'm big on doing something immediately. You text me, I'm going to text you right back. If you ask me something, I think it's really important. I mean, we're so busy. Everything gets buried.
Right.
So I don't know.
And that's the other thing. Everyone says they're so busy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
everyone's busy.
It's relative.
Busy. It's so relative. So your busyness isn't any more important than my busyness. We're all busy. And I think it's just a new narrative that everyone's saying they're so busy, just so we sound like we're so busy. There's a lot of people who are not busy, but they're saying that they're busy.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're not really busy. It's minutia. Minutia. Seriously, you're not really doing much. You've just decided to just waste some of your day just doing whatever. But I'm not down with that. Sorry. Am I like the witchy one of the crew? I'm so nice.
No, you're not.
I don't think so.
Nice.
You're just keeping
being
it real.
Transparent.
Yeah, right. We're all keeping it real. Yeah. And I think it's important for people to hear, because this is a table of 4 successful women who these are the principles and the standards that you live by. Don't cancel on people. Don't tell us when you have a stomachache, because we don't care. Yep. Get your stuff done.
Yeah.
Make your family a priority. Like, there's so many pearls that I'm picking up on just by interviewing you guys.
And I want to look up to my friends. Like, I want them to impress me. Like, I want to impress you guys. I want to be impressed too.
Yeah.
Well, we're always learning from one another. We're always pushing each other.
And we're always dying laughing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we do just make fun of ourselves all day long, which is so important. We don't take ourselves too seriously at all.
No, but it is important that we push each other to do better, 100%. Be better, to learn from each other. it's really important. I mean, I always want to learn.
So one of you guys, like we have like a running list of like things we're going to talk about, wrote something about like the mental health that comes with working, like how it can be good or bad for your mental health. Like, what do you guys think about that?
I think if I wasn't working, I'd be institutionalized.
Mm-hmm.
Like I need to have structure in my life. I need to wake up every single morning, get dressed, put makeup on, put an outfit on, and be out the door. Like I don't think I would do good with idle time.
You would not.
No, she knows.
Horrible.
Yeah. Horrible.
Yeah. I mean, I experienced, a small degree of that, just like being on maternity leave. Like I had to have something to do.
Right.
I was taking care of my baby, obviously, but
It's so hard to begin with.
yeah, but it's like, I couldn't completely unplug like that and be in my house all day long. Like, I had to have activities.
And
at
one
least.
thing for me, like I didn't take enough vacation time this year. So at my company, so I'm pretty much almost taking a month off in December, and I'm already in such a panic.
Yeah.
Like, what am I going to do? I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to annoy the two of these girls, but I need to have like major plans.
Yeah.
But that's not good. Like I should be able to relax, but I need to work.
Well, some
on
people
that.
just don't, like it's always that age old question, like, oh, how do you find balance? Well, everyone's definition of balance is so different. Like yours is clearly being really busy. Like that's how you feel balanced in your life. Like another person's balance may be literally having nothing on their agenda. So it's really what works for you. And I think you have to know how you feel your best.
Okay, I just realized what I'm going to do. I'm coming to you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It just came to me. Okay, all right, we'll talk afterwards about all the surgery that I could have. This is great.
It's true. You have recovery.
I know.
Yeah.
I have time. Okay. We'll
I
talk
can't wait to
offline.
For me, sorry, were you going to go? Go for it.
I hear it now.
You there?
I was going to say that maybe get ready for the holidays, and
She's decorated.
Hello,
done.
Halloween. I was already done with my 12 trees.
Halloween's the new Christmas.
No, it's the new Christmas.
I know.
Halloween is
I
the
don't
new
even.
Christmas.
It's amazing. I loved we moved right before, like a week before Halloween, and I still don't know where my pumpkins are. I'm really upset about it. Like they're somewhere in the garage in like the 20 boxes that are not unpacked yet. But I think I'm just going to.
Have you started your Christmas?
Not really, because I'm still unpacking. But what did I find the other day? I have a Merry Christmas pillow out right now. One pillow
to start.
Oh, and I have a mat that says "Home for the Holidays." It's from Target, the Chip and Joanna stuff.
Yeah, it's so cute.
Oh, so cute.
So cute. But yeah, I know. I'm going to do 2 trees this year. I did just one big one every year before, but now I'm going to do one downstairs, one upstairs.
That's fun.
Will that be fun?
Oh, yes.
I used to do a children's tree, like one
Yeah.
cute tree, beautiful tree, and then a children's tree that had all their silly little decorations. And but I don't do it until the day after Thanksgiving.
And the holidays can be really lonely too for some people that we know. Because there's so much hype.
Right. There are many people who the hype and the, excitement that some people consider it around big events, like it actually just stresses them out and it makes them like kind of pull back.
Anxious. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you, I'm going to take over the podcast. Sorry.
Please.
Mental health for you. Can you spot a patient that is doing, and probably you too, Victoria, right? Like you're here not because
like the dysmorphia stuff, or what do you?
Yeah. Like people are coming to fill a void.
Yeah.
That's trying to be filled with plastic surgery.
Yeah. And I mean, I'll be honest, if you just listen, they literally tell you. Like I had the other day, and I'm not going to be descriptive so that no one knows, but a patient literally told me, I will go 2 or 3 days without leaving my house and I will binge eat. Okay, like you're not in a place where you need to be making decisions about elective cosmetic surgery. Like that's a lot. That's heavy. I don't know what got you there. I don't know what's going to get you out of there. Like that's not my area of expertise, and I don't want to pretend like I know, but I do know we don't need to add surgery into the mix. So I told them no. Yeah. I said, let's check back in 6 months. Like if you're in a better place, like we'll readdress. But right now, like it's just not the time. It's not the time for you. And I've had, so many other people like, and if you just listen, they'll literally tell you, and I think that that's the problem with a lot of our interactions we have today. Like we want to talk, but we don't actually want to listen to the other person because they'll tell us what's going on and what's wrong.
And you've had that experience.
That's very true. I think that, it's, we're trying to, when patients come to my office in, first time there in, I can refer back to a case where this lady was dropped gorgeous and she thought something was wrong with her under eyes and something was wrong with this and something was wrong with that. And I was just like, okay, I'm just listening. And I'm thinking like, she doesn't, and I told her, I said, I don't think you need any under eyes. I think you look gorgeous. And she just thought that I was just complimenting her. She's like, no, you're just trying to tell people that they're beautiful. And I'm thinking like, no, you are really beautiful. And so I kind of walk her through, long story short, she became my patient. I did some toxin that day and now she came back a second time and I got to know her a little better. And then she wanted like more filler on her lips or something. Mm-hmm. And then I ended up doing that, but I did like a very like, she didn't needed it, but I told her that, but then, so it's basically like Dr. Kandace said, it's listening to what they, what their concern is, but also being super careful that, some people are not ready for these changes, and then obviously the things I do are not dramatic changes, but surgery, something that's going to change the way you look. Some people might not be able to handle that if they're not in the right mind or.
Well, and also it's not going to fix the problem.
No. Exactly.
That's a lot of responsibility on you.
I know.
Both of you.
Yeah.
It's a lot of responsibility.
Well, it's important that if you're someone, let's say you're a listener and you're, looking for an injector or a surgeon or, just any type of service, that you get actual feedback. Like it's not someone just telling you yes every single time. Like my patients for many years, they ask me almost every time, can I have lip filler today? And it's like, no, like I'm not going to do what's not appropriate and it's going to make you look like a monkey. So,
Which
if I'm telling you no, it's for a reason, and if you're going to someone who's never told you no, and it's been longer than maybe 2 or 3 visits, then you might need to reevaluate the relationship because maybe they're just doing it for money and they're not having your best interest, or maybe they don't see the things that they should be seeing. You got to really evaluate, and you don't want someone who tells you yes every single time.
And we talked about this on our last podcast that going to you as a physician, being a female is so amazing because there's so many doctors in this area that are men and they don't listen and they take 2 seconds of a consult and you're just like, wait, what just happened? Like, I love that about you. And there's really not that many female plastic surgeons.
No, there's not at all, like in the world.
Yeah, I know.
Much less in this area. It's really male heavy.
It is. And we, and so Kat, so one of your patients who was on your podcast, you're doing like your journaling, her whole, oh my gosh, she looks so beautiful. And
she does.
Oh my gosh. Like the results are amazing. I know. That's going to be me over Christmas. I'm going. If you have a contract, I'll sign it right now. But I love that she shared that. And that particular person on the podcast that you had she is all about empowering women and network.
Yeah. And so she introduced me to this other network, but I feel like I'm going to not do that network and join yours.
No, you're joining ours. Social network.
Because I don't think I have enough room in my life for 2, but yours is going to win.
I already decided. It's going to be awesome.
Well, and I think part of what you could do, and I would love to help you, is like to give little tools, like do little skill workshops and things like that, where it's like, okay, today we're going to talk about this. Like even when you haven't been in the workforce, or maybe you've been in the hospital setting for so long and now you're trying to go into a different market, like how you dress, how you do your hair. Like there are so many things that like we're scared to think about, or we're stuck in the old ways that like you can teach someone.
Yes, I love that. In fact, I think even a lot of people, because they were wearing scrubs during the pandemic.
Yeah.
They're just in scrubs still. It's almost like it's the new Lululemon situation.
Yeah,
I'm like,
right.
because they just forgot.
Yeah. And I'm going to give you guys like a pro tip, but scrubs are the easiest way to get fat. Like, because you can hide 10 or 15 pounds under scrubs easily.
I don't wear
So don't do that.
I used to tell people I wear pajamas for work, you know?
Yeah. In the hospital, the like ones that they make you wear, they don't even make them. Yeah. They don't even make them small enough. First of all, they're never long enough. I was always like walking around like I was going to a flood. And then
they never have my size either.
Yeah. And then you could literally gain a whole belly. Like I was pregnant, 20 weeks pregnant, and no one knew because the scrubs. Like,
oh wow,
yeah. With Charlie, the first one, obviously it's different.
So I would wear scrubs, and with heels. I would I draw the line somewhere, and I have to
wear. She would show up at the hospital wearing like the cutest outfits. You know, I told you this. Every time she came and visited, I was like, oh my God, you made my day. Because, it was long hours and that was sadness and stress. And then I would just get to see her and be like, oh my God, there's my girlfriend.
Goal. I love that you're saying that, because that is what I tried to do when I do go to work, is like, I say like sprinkle sunshine, but like during the pandemic, it was so...
You were amazing during the pandemic.
Yeah, I never stayed home, not one day. Like I was
made posters for nurses.
I still was out, and it was so tragic and so sad, and I just wanted to do whatever I could do. So I would meet people in the physicians in the parking lots, and like just try to create some sort of a help, And so Victoria was so instrumental in helping me with that, and you and I worked together then, and with in corporate America, and we were just trying to do whatever we could do.
So Vicky and I worked together, and then I was laid off. Always, there are always obstacles, but I was laid off, and
for a hot minute.
For a minute, and it was the best thing. It led me to another great corporate America job in med tech, and even in my new job, we found a way to work together. We constantly collaborated and networked constantly, and we still work together now in totally different industries, and we still figure out how to, kind of similar industries, but we always find a way to work together. Yeah.
100%.
Well, and I think one of you also mentioned, like, you never know, like, how many degrees of separation there are from you and someone else.
It's ridiculous.
Like, it's important to always be a nice person and to be helpful and to be not outgoing necessarily, but like be willing to help someone else, because the moment you're rude to someone or shut someone off or, do something that maybe you wouldn't be proud of, it ends up being like your neighbor,
This
is a very small community.
Bite you in the ass.
Very, very small community.
Yes.
I don't know you guys, but I've been here for like 25 years, and every day I hear like all these different, somehow there's a connection. Oh, this is so-and-so's nephew or so-and-so's mom.
No, everyone.
And it's a small town.
Which I don't know why anyone would want to ghost anybody, or anyone would, you never,
it comes back around.
It comes back around. I have a story. I'm not going to get into it, but
no, tell us.
Yeah, what is it?
We have a few minutes. We should do it.
No, it's just an example of you just never know when you're going to be in the room with somebody and you've done them wrong.
Yeah.
And now
that's a really bad feeling.
Yeah, it's yes. So,
gosh, it's happened to us a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
but we honestly, we always try to do the right thing.
Always.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, my mother, that was her.
Yeah.
My mother unfortunately passed away, but I'll remember that. Always do the right thing.
Yeah. Be honest.
Just always do the right thing. I think, and you know what? Our parents are very similar in how they've parented us too, with all these great pearls.
Yeah.
And that's really helped us so much too. And that's what we want to do for our children. And you should meet them.
Yeah.
We should do one where they come and they do part of the podcast, because they're all like, they're friends. They have a lot of similarities, and getting perspective from the future generation, and like what types of things that, because social media, we never had any of this.
Yeah.
So
this would empower them. I mean, my children look at me, and they still have that old school thinking where the man should, but I'm taking care of business, and it's really good for my son. But every time I do something, they repost it. They're like, "Yeah, Mama, yeah," and it is.
They were so proud of you the other day.
They're so
proud.
The
event. Yes.
Yeah, but this would empower them, and like we were talking about internships and not knowing in the chapters of your life, you go through those chapters and you kind of, it's a process of elimination your whole life. You keep maybe having different jobs, different relationships. It's like, oh, that's what I don't want. That's what I don't want. And you learn and age and you figure out what you do want along the way. And our children are just starting that out. And so with the internships are seeing this, they don't know this is here or what this looks like when people are doing podcasts and why we do it. But just in general, just show them what we're doing and they would be so pumped to see this and like, okay, it's just inspiring. Yes. And even our friends, I mean, I wish they'd walk by and
I know.
be inspired while they're maybe shopping or something.
We should do like the next episode, we should do part of it like live, like we can go live on Instagram or something. That way they can see us in action.
That would be amazing.
Yeah. Obviously we have the recordings too. And we'll post the reels, like some clips tomorrow. Well, this is like not live. So anyways, there's another episode that you guys should watch.
That's hard.
That you'll see, but also, go to our Instagram so you can check all of this out. And Facebook, are you guys big on Facebook? Mm-hmm. I just rejoined Facebook. Like I've never quit it, but I didn't have it on my phone for a good 10 years because it was just like, social media overload. I was like, I can't be on all these platforms, but the new neighborhood I moved into, they have like a group.
Oh, yes.
And I need the updates. So I want to know what's going on with Sally and Joe down the street and why there's a contractor and whose car got stolen and whatever kind of weird stuff.
It's funny you should say that because I'm very shy with social media, but I'm getting back into it. And I actually commented on someone's Facebook the other day. I was like, oh my God, I just commented. But to your point, there's the Jupiter moms. There's so many things you can learn from, your neighbors or they're selling or they need help. And I think I helped someone on there the other day.
Yeah.
As long as I'm helping someone, I'm good.
Yeah. The beautiful part of social media is the connection. Like you don't know how many people really feel like they know me because of social media.
Oh,
and it's I've never even met them, but they know about my sons. They know about, my move. They know like all of these things about my personal life, which can feel intrusive at times and be overwhelming. Like as the person giving that information out there to the world, like when am I going to get, a serial killer coming after me? Who knows? But it's also so beautiful because then I meet these people and we immediately are friends, so I love that.
And your platform is amazing because so many people that we say that we're on this, but like, oh my gosh, I love her. Like,
talk about. Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, meanwhile, I'm like, why? Why do they love me? Who knows? Like, that's so weird, but whatever. I'll take it.
So well known. And you have the cutest TikToks. I love your TikToks.
Oh, they are cool. That's like my favorite new thing.
Yeah. We have to
It's more of my real personality.
These two. I'm all about social media. And they're coming. But
that's another thing. That's one thing that we can do. We can do a workshop on social media on the different platforms. I've actually lectured on it before. Like all the different things and like what's good and what. And like, if you're in this industry, which is the best for you. And there are a lot of metrics that you can
and don'ts.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. So many don'ts that people just step all over, but
so many don'ts for our kids.
Yes. Their future is in social media. Yes. Their future is being published as they speak. Yep. So, yeah, exactly.
But, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to go live next time.
I know. So we're going to go live next time. What's our topic next time? I forget. We have like a whole list. Anyways, it's the Women Tell All series. This is part 2. Part 1 is already recorded. So scroll back. If you are on the podcast right now listening to this one, make sure you listen to part 1 and then be on the lookout for part 3 because we will definitely go there. I'm Slimming Surgeon at Slimming Surgeon on Instagram. Let's go around. Victoria.
I'm BCF Medical on Instagram.
Okay. And then Kim.
Havlicek. I'm at SOLICUR.
SOLICUR.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
And then Vicky.
Vicky Case, 1, 2, 3.
Follow her.
Okay. Yeah. So everyone, thanks for listening. We're going to wrap this one up because we have exhausted this topic but we've got way more to come. Please leave a 5-star review on the podcast because it helps spread the word and get this podcast out to more listeners. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
That's a wrap.